What is up, guys? 70 Savage here. Today we have a very exciting day. We are taking the first extended trip in the van. So the plan is to go from my hometown of Healdsburg, California. That's where I am right now and where I've been building this van for the past 8 months or so. And we're gonna trek all the way out to Denver, Colorado over the next week or so. You might ask, okay, why Denver, Colorado? That's pretty far, it's pretty cold. I actually work in Denver, Colorado. I work remote for a company out there. Normally we fly out once a month and I'll meet up there for a few days, but I figured this time I got a van and I gotta put it to the test. So as with most things on the van, I'm gonna be learning this all as I go in terms of where to stay, what to do, where to eat, all that good stuff. And I am stoked to take you guys with me and figure it out as we go. So before we get started, if you are new to the channel, I have been converting this van right here into a full-time tiny home. There are videos on everything that you're gonna see throughout this video in terms of how to build it on my channel. That includes the sliding bed system, the wood ceiling, the subfloor, the kitchen galley unit, the solar panel. If you like this video and you want to see more of my travels in the future, as well as see the rest of the documentation on the projects, don't hesitate to slap that subscribe button below. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So before we start this puppy up and get on the road, let me show you guys what I packed for this trip. First up, we got all the food, well, half the food, paper plates and stuff. All my electronics. I made this dedicated laptop drawer that is already paying off. I got all my clothes. I put my entire wardrobe in these two upper cabinets right here. Moving over to the galley unit. I actually need 2 hands for this. We have the fridge with the other half of my food. Quintessential LaCroix, and then a bunch of frozen meals, some of which are actually reasonably healthy. Ate one of those last night and it was awesome. I slept in here last night and I got a fantastic night's sleep. It was a good predictor for what is to come. And then under the bed I have all of my tools, like pretty much everything that I use to build this van other than like my chop saw and drill press and stuff like that. I could probably build a whole nother van with the amount of tools that I have in here. I have a ton of recovery gear, like chains and max tracks and 12-volt air compressor. So hoping that I'm overly prepared for this trip, and then as time goes on I can figure out what stuff that I need to pull out. Alrighty, so first things first, Denver, Colorado, 19 hours in 9 minutes, over 1,000 miles. Let's get her done. All right, guys, so a few hours into the trip now. Things are going real smooth so far. Stopped for Chick-fil-A, got a little grub. Starting the trip here off with a healthy meal. First impressions of the van is that it's driving really smooth. I mean, obviously I tested this stuff as I was building it, but the result so far is that it feels like a really smooth drive. I'm averaging like 70, 75 miles an hour. There's not a lot of creaking or squeaking. I mean, the 2 cabinets that I built without wood glue are definitely the squeakiest 2 things. You might be able to hear them slightly right now. They're like the only audible squeaking that's going on. So if you do go back and watch those videos, I highly recommend you use wood glue between any 2 pieces of wood. It definitely reduces that squeaking once they're finally installed. Some of you are probably wondering about the ceiling. I mean, I've gotten questions about the ceiling on lots of the videos. People are like, hey, is that thing falling down yet? Because it is held up by magnets, if you didn't see that video when it was first published. And yeah, it's holding up perfect. There's no rattling or squeaking at all coming from the ceiling, actually. Nothing crazy has happened, like the ceiling falling off or anything like that. I mean, I'm gonna continue to see how things go, and if it does fall off, I'll let you guys know, but so far so good. Still recommend installing it using the method from that video. It's so nice being in a van. The driving experience is so smooth. I'm just like flying by RVs. I look over and I'm like, woo, van life, and they look back at me and they're like, air conditioning. The first thing on my mind right now, the first thing that I'm worried about is, where am I going to sleep tonight? The biggest question while living on the road. So as of right now, I have a couple apps that I'm going to use. iOverlander is one of them. That has a lot of like pseudo camp spots, places that people have just found off the side of the road. Typically they're free. And then there's another app that I use that has more formal campsites. So I'm gonna use kind of a combination of those and hopefully find a place to stay tonight that's not super sketchy. Pulling up on Sacramento, headed to Reno. When I took an exit onto this highway, the next step that I was instructed to follow is follow this highway for 610 miles. I don't know about you guys, I have never been on a road trip where it just goes from like, do this at 20 miles, do that at 50 miles. Oh, and a casual 610 miles, take a left turn. I think with all this time on the road, it's only appropriate to try and come up with a name for the van. Not having much luck so far coming up with anything that suits my fancy. I think the best van name that I've heard, I forget exactly where I heard it from, another YouTuber or something like that, is Pamela Vanderson. So we definitely need to top that. So until we come up with a good name, I think I'm gonna stick with just calling her Van. So Van, how do you feel about this first road trip? She feels good, she feels good. First gas bill is about 3/4 of the tank, came out to $67.57. Not too bad. I'm getting between like 18 and 20 miles a gallon, which is pretty freaking sick if you ask me for a van that's also your house. Hey Van, it's your first snow. How do you feel about it? Wait, front left seat malfunction. Van is not stoked about the snow. I may have been too lazy to bring my car to the shop to get my codes cleared after futzing around under the passenger and driver seats. Roads are dry again, back on safe territory. Van is now happy, and we are quickly approaching Reno. Passing through Reno. I think I got an hour or two left of sunlight, so pretty soon I'm gonna have to start thinking about where I'm gonna sleep tonight. All right guys, so it looks like I've found my spot for the night. I found it in iOverlander app. It's called the BLM Water Canyon Recreation Area. The great part about iOverlander is that there's like reviews, other people that have stayed here. There's a ton of reviews on this one. Apparently it's like open BLM land, and everybody says it's a pretty cool place to stay. There's cell phone service, and it says it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes away from me right now. That will bring me in with an ETA of about 6:30 p.m. tonight, and hopefully there's cell reception so I can watch some Netflix or something like that. I actually can't even remember the last time that I watched Netflix, so I'm not really sure why I said that. But I do watch YouTube. I watch quite a bit of YouTube. Might tune into some, 7-0 Savage and all the cool build band videos he makes. JK, I'm not that narcissistic. The rolling hills out here in Nevada are simply beautiful. There is so much land. It is vast out here. Very different than most of the places I just came from in California that were much tighter and much more condensed. This is definitely why I built the van, to visit these kind of areas. Super stoked right now. Let the cruise continue. Alrighty guys, so I just pulled off the highway off of I-80 into a small town called Winnemucca. I think that's how you say it, at least. I'm about 1 mile away from this supposed campsite. I'm currently on a dirt road with some snow on it, which I'm kind of curious about, because the last time I saw anything when it was light outside, there was no snow on the roads at all. So there is the sign right there, Water Canyon Recreation Area. I'm pretty stoked. It's out here. It feels like camping. All right, here we are. It's peaceful, I guess. There's nobody out here. Let's go ahead and take a quick look around. First thing I saw was that this is campsite number 2, and there is a 3-day limit on camping. So we're in the clear legally. I did just see one car drive by, but it was kind of a Subaru. It looked like they were out here kind of drifting or having fun. I don't know. Who knows? But they were going up there. You guys probably can't see it. Let's see, maybe if I take the light away. Nah, you can't see it. But it's beautiful. There's like a couple of mountain ranges back here. Looks like there might be a road that kind of just goes up through like some sort of pass. And then when I got out, I immediately heard that there is a small stream here. So there's a table, a little fire pit, neither of which I'll be using, but there's a little stream back here. So, tough to see right now. I think there'll be a lot more to show off in the morning, but stoked. We have all of the window covers up, so nobody can see these lights that are on in here. It's actually almost pitch black outside the van. It's super cool how these things work, and they're insulated, so it makes it a lot nicer. I think it's 28 degrees outside right now, so it makes it a lot easier to keep the heat in here. Speaking of heat, I got the S-bar heater ramping up right now. This thing cranks out some serious heat. All right, let's pick out some dinner. I think I'm gonna go with the old pad thai. Can't go wrong with that. Alright guys, so the clock just struck 9. It is now time for Grandpa 7 to go to bed. I wonder how you're supposed to find a dentist when you live on the road. Final thing to note before bed, the battery is currently at 91%. It was at 100% when I got here, but I've been doing some editing on my computer, which takes a ton of power. Let's wake up in the morning and see what we're at. I will see you all mañana. How's it going? Let's take a first peek of what our campsite looks like out here. Oh, frosty. There we are. Looks a lot like BLM land. All right, so it is currently 7:43 a.m. The night went decent. I wouldn't say it went super well. It didn't go poorly. I got like 6 hours of sleep or so, which is pretty good for like the first night out in the wildy. I got a little spooked in the beginning. I'll show you guys why once we step outside. But that's pretty much what kept me up for most of the night, kind of just making sure that my van was not getting encroached on. You know, probably wasn't ever going to get encroached on, but my first night out here, it was a little spooky. The heater performed awesome. It was like a solid 70 degrees in here all night long. This is definitely glamping, the definition of glamping. Let's go ahead and cook some brekkie. We're currently at 85% battery. That means we used 6% throughout the night. I attribute that to the fuel pump for the heater. Wasn't expecting it to use quite that much energy actually. Let's go ahead and check out the outdoors here. Dang. This place is vast. It's beautiful out here. Looks like I did have one friend staying with me. Homie's over there. Nice to know we have a little bit of company. All right, so let me try and explain to you guys why I was a little bit spooked last night. And then I'm gonna explain to you guys why I'm just kind of crazy. Because if I did the opposite, then you might not believe me. So, this is my campsite right here. There's a little turnout that goes off of the main road. This is the main dirt road that it connects to over here. And I was spooked because a couple of times there were cars that actually drove right here off of the main road right next to my van. One of which was like an old 80s sedan, kind of like the kind of car that you do not expect to see out on a dirt road in BLM land. So that spooked me out a little bit, but now why I'm crazy, if you can see behind me here, there's these little cages in the snow. Water canyon pollinators. And it's all the bees and butterflies and all the nice things in the world. I guess this is some sort of habitat for them. Maybe they were just coming to check that out. Who knows? Anyways, for the next couple hours, I think I'm just gonna hang out and enjoy the scenery here. It is just so beautiful out here. I'm gonna try and fly the drone a little bit. I'm curious what's over that hill, and I'm too lazy to hike, and it's 2020, so we're gonna fly a drone over it. The van is happy. So this right here is my racing drone. This right here is everything that I need to fly it. And it's an FPV drone. So the way that it works is there's these goggles right here. They look kind of like VR goggles, but they're not. You put these on your face and you can see from the perspective of this drone as it's flying around. It does cool flippy floppies and goes really fast. It's an awesome hobby to have if you're traveling. All right, ready to fly. Send it, dude. That was fun. Anyway, super nerdy stuff, I know. I wish I could stay here longer, to be honest. This is a nice place. It's very peaceful out here. That actually sums up the BLM Water Canyon campsite. Highly recommend coming here if you're ever going down I-80 through Nevada. It was short, but sweet, and I hope to be back soon. Now it is time to get back on the road. I do need to work tomorrow, which means I need to be in meetings all day, which means I need cell service so that I can use my hotspot enough bandwidth to video chat. That is the primary goal. I think I found a destination here. It's called Rockport State Park. This is just one of the campgrounds there. It's just past Salt Lake City. It's about 5 hours away. 6 hours away. All right, Van, you ready? She's ready. She's ready. And we're off. All right, guys. Well, I just got onto the road and we have our first concerning problem here. There's drips coming from the front of this unit right here. So I'm actually gonna take this thing apart and see what's up. Of course, I end up slicing my finger on the stupid plastic trim ring that apparently is also a razor blade. You can see that there is water droplets that are forming all throughout the top in there. There's not actually a leak. It's literally just condensation. This is the piece of insulation that I installed above the headliner right here. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I think I just gotta dry it off for now and keep on going. So after filling up to a full tank, we are at 392 miles of range. And I always need to keep 25% or more fuel in the tank if I wanna run the diesel heater. The tap into the fuel tank that powers that diesel heater stops at 25% so that you don't like run out of fuel and can't go anywhere. Downside of that is that I need to have more than a quarter tank if I want to run that thing. So probably gonna have to stop for fuel one more time. Other than that though, we'd be cruising. There have also been no more drips from the console there. It's dangling right now. I left it open to kind of dry out. After I wiped it down though, I didn't drip since then. About 3 hours away from Salt Lake City. It's looking a bit more deserty out here. Dang, there are hell of cows out there. Look at that. There's like hundreds of cows. They eat the dead stuff on the side of the road. Cruising down I-80 at 80 miles an hour. I wonder if that's how it got its name. It's kind of nice. The van is so smooth. Such a good driving experience. All right, long straight road ahead. Let's go ahead and turn up the, oh, wait a second. Where's the radio? I actually have a radio delete. Call it the race package. It's paddle shifters and no radio. So I've never actually stopped at a rest area in my entire life, and my back kind of hurts from sitting down all day. So I'm stopping at this rest area. It's actually kind of cool. Look at the architecture here. Look at the van. She is dirty. All right, back on the road. Next stop, Salt Lake City. Here we are, Salt Lake City! We could skip Denver and just go straight to Las Vegas. We're currently driving all the way around this lake. Our campsite is like pretty much directly across from us. Here we are. So, no one is on duty. I'm gonna go ahead and pay the fee. It's 30 bucks per day, per site. So I said 30 bucks a day, but I only have $20 bills. So I'm putting 40 bucks and I have a little note that says, I only have $20 bills. I'll put another 20 if I stay tomorrow. There we go. And we're off to find the Juniper Campground. Here we are. You guys can't see anything. I can barely see anything. Let's see if we can find a campsite. Well, the good news is I haven't actually seen any of these campgrounds occupied yet. Meaning, pretty sure we can just pick from anyone that we want. Okay, so this right here is the main road. And I picked that spot right there. So this hasn't been plowed in a little while. I made the first tracks here. It was a bit sketch. I do only have 2-wheel drive, but we made it through. We're parked. We're the only people at this entire campsite. Cell service is here, and it's pretty dang peaceful. Nobody else out here. All right, guys, well, good news. We made it. Other news is I'm crazy. I was worried about whether or not there would be room for us at this campground, and it appears I am the only person at the entire campground. We got the whole place to ourselves. I'm stoked. It is freezing cold though. It's already about to drop below 20 degrees. All right, so I put my window covers up. I have a little tag that shows that I paid. I've tried to put that on the front of my windshield, so hopefully I don't get a knock at 3 a.m., which would suck because I have work tomorrow. I need some good sleep tonight. And it's 21 degrees outside right now. The low tonight is supposed to be 17 degrees. So right now I have the diesel heater starting up. I'm planning on microwaving some food. Let's see, what are the batteries at? 94% battery, so we should be good for the night. So it feels pretty safe. Hopefully I can get a good night's sleep. Morning, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look outside. Here we are. It is a beautiful snowy day out here in Utah. I'm right here on a lake. There's the van. So last night, this is the spot that I had to back into. Obviously this road right here has been recently plowed, so that's fun. But this campsite has not. And I had to try and find a campsite that I wasn't going to get stuck in. This one was quite successful. Actually didn't really slip at all, but there was one up there that I tried to get into and got fairly close to getting stuck. I had my tire spinning, but luckily I could kind of just roll out of it. So I am going to get back into the van and start my work day. Got some meetings today and a nice cozy van to do them in, thankfully, because it is coming down out here. It is not the most pleasant outdoor weather to be in right now. This is, however, the final campsite for this vlog. So this vlog is part 1. I'm going to be coming out with additional parts for this Denver trip. If you enjoyed this first travel video, don't forget to slap that thumbs up button. Learning everything as I go here. Really stoked that you guys are watching if you made it to this point in the video. Don't forget to slap that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.